Hey everyone, it's Johnny, your independent Scentsy consultant. Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about the Woodsy category for the new Fall/Winter 2022, there you go, Scentsy Catalog. But before we do that, just a quick update. If you watched my fresh video, I had mentioned on a couple scents, like, there are some notes that I was like, I'm going crazy, but I remember them being, like, very prominent and talked about when I did them. And I was right, so I looked up the old brochures. I keep a copy of each one because I'm evil and crazy like that. But Icicles and Evergreen, I was telling you about, I think in the last video. I know this is not about Woodsy category stuff, but I had mentioned that there was like an apple note in there, and there was. I was right about it. Haha, I remember. And then for Arctic Kiss, I was like, I swear that this is like, there's a big melon note in there. And yes, there were watery greens and sparkling melon. So thank you. I remember the scent notes, even if I'm like thinking I don't. So without further ado though, let's go into the Woodsy category because that's what this video is about today. So we have a good smattering of scents here. Some of these I adore, some of them are new, some of them I could deal without. Let's dive right in. First we have Around the Campfire. This is make some memories in the mountain air as notes of fresh fallen wood and smoky embers help set the scene. So this is a very strong and quite smoky campfire scent. It is kind of a scent monster. If you go a little too crazy with your wax cubes, you'll probably be stunk out of your room or house or whatever. It is on the smokier side. So Spiced Ember Glow is more on the burnt wood note, and like the woodsy smoldering quality. This is more on the smoky quality. It's a sweeter quality. Like it's not like super like just charcoal and ash and brimstone, but it is like a sweet, smoky, barbecue-y kind of campfire. It is also very good at covering up unwanted aromas, from what I have learned. My mom can attest to that from firsthand use, surprisingly well. So if you just need something to scent bomb a place that is just notoriously a stink trap, this may not necessarily be your first choice of fragrance, but it does the job and it does it well. So that's Around the Campfire. Next we have Be Merry. Ha 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 ha. Joy abounds in pine boughs, dotted with holly leaf and cassis. Yeah, I mean, that's what this is. You do get a woody cassis berry, currant sort of berry scent. It's tart. It's not quite currant per se. So if you don't like the pungency of currants in general, like you think you might be all right with this. But it is that like red berry, traditional sort of Christmassy kind of scent. It's not a cranberry scent though, so just be aware. It's like that red berry vibe. So I guess that's for the cassis. But you do get a more of a woodsy undertone. And it is pine boughs. It's not like some other ones, so you're not going to get cedar wood or any other ones. So just keep that in mind if you're looking for something a little bit more woodsy. This is more like berry woods, or berry with a green tone underneath. It's a good scent. I personally don't mind it, but I don't necessarily wouldn't be screaming from the rooftops to have it. I think it is a good scent for what it is, and that's that. The next one, however, I do love, and this is Blue Sage and Tonka. This was released last year. Holy bananas. I want this as a cologne. Scentsy, I don't know what you're doing. You are sleeping on the job. Stop making fragrance mists and make me like a cologne. Preferably not a rollerball because those usually suck. But give me like one of those, like Bath and Body Works. They have like the small size spray bottle cologne. Like, hello? I would pay way more than a fragrance mist for something like that. Well, maybe not that much, but I would still pay more. Anyways, back to this. Revel in the richness of midnight sage and black lavender over the sultry sweetness of tonka bean. This is a very cologne scent. I am not a huge sage person. Very often I will get sick of sage. Maybe I am a demon or evil and that's why I don't like sage that much. Who knows? But it's very, very particular versions of sage that I love. This one I adore. This one I could live in and pour all over me and slather and it'll be great. Very much a cologne scent. I love the addition of black lavender. It's a deeper, rich lavender tone that you get that gives a hint of a soapiness, like if you see it in a cologne note, but it's very on the rich side. It's on the deeper masculine tone side, earthy side. Then you have tonka bean, which kind of gives a sweetness, or it can give a vanilla tone, or it can just give a warmth to a scent. Oh, and it does all of that. Oh my goodness. Like, I could just smell this all day long and not have a problem with it whatsoever. So, and again, I'm not a huge sage person. I do pick up on the sage note. So maybe in the long term, it wouldn't be like my favorite compared to something else that didn't have a sage tone in it. But this is really good. And if you like, oh, what is it called? What cologne? Is it Noir or Legend? I don't remember. One of the ones from Bath and Body Works, for men's line cologne. This smells adjacent to those, because one of them has like a black lavender note to it, or a lavender tone to it, and it's similar in kind of its delivery. This one's a little bit more cologne, whereas the other one's a little bit more soapy. I think it's Noir. Don't quote me on that. Anyways, great scent. Performs well. Enough said. Next is Cashmere and Corduroy. This is another returning one that was new last year. And I'm not mad that this is returning either, because this is a great one. This one could also go in the fresh category, honestly. So this is wrap yourself in the coziness of creamy vanilla, Sicilian bergamot, and cashmere sandalwood. I think in this scent, I'm not 100% wild about the fact that there is a bergamot note in it. Not because I don't like bergamot, but I don't necessarily think it completely does much to this scent except give it an odd scent note. I don't mind it, but it doesn't necessarily elevate it to like, oh my god status for me. However, the vanilla and cashmere sandalwood mixture with that sort of citrus tone upbeat sort of part to it really makes for a great scent. And it's a strong performer, and it lasts quite long. As do most of these in this Woodsy category. You'll find that most of them are great performers. Generally speaking, wood-toned or woodsy-toned scents tend to be stronger or better performers, just because some of the lighter scent oils like fruity and citrus tend to dissipate faster or evaporate faster than like the woody undertones. That's why base notes for scents tend to be like vanillas and musks and woods and things. Anyways, great scent. Glad it's back. Cashmere and Corduroy. Next, we have Cedar Cider. I actually really enjoy this one. If I had to pick between this one and Cider Mill, this one, whoops, flies out of my hands, but wins every time. But I like cedar. So if you do not like the scent of cedar, this isn't going to be good for you. An autumn medley of the reddest apples, cinnamon sticks, and vanilla beans nestled among fragrant white cedar branches. What I love about this scent is it's an apple cinnamon scent, as many apple cinnamon scents may be, but that cedar note just sets it off into a whole new category. And I really wish I could find more apple cedar blends, because it is such a beautiful scent. Anyways, you do get the cedar. It's not like so overwhelming that all you smell is cedar. You do smell the apples, and you do smell the cinnamon, and it is cinnamon sticks, and it's more of a sweeter cinnamon. It's not a red hot. And for the vanilla bean, I think it's there in the background, but it's really not the major player. It's really like apples and cinnamon and cedar, and I think they do it well. And it is juicy, like ripe apples. Like it's Johnny Appleseed ripe apples, not like muted dead apples, or like I baked them in the apple pie too long and so I can't even smell the apples. This, you will actually get the apple scent in there. Really great performer, and it stays fairly consistent because of the wood tones in there. So next we have Falling Apples, which is the new scent. I don't know why we're doing all these like abbreviated puns on scents, but anyway. Take a stroll through an orchard lined with crisp apple, acorn, and oak. We talked about this in the new releases. I think it actually smells quite nice. I wasn't super fond of like our previous acorn scent at the end of the day, so I'm hoping that doesn't maybe become a deterrent for this one and for me, but On cold, it does smell good. You do get that really nice apple blend. You do smell the acorn, and you do get the oak note. So it's like a lighter version of some of the apple and oak ones that are out there from other companies. And there's that. Next is Huckleberry Hideaway. This is another new release. We talked about this as well. I'm not sure how I feel about this yet. Fresh picked huckleberry, mountain violet, and crisp white woods create the perfect retreat. So this is kind of like a huckleberry and mountain violet version of plum and white woods, which I adore. This is not that. It has a nod to it, but it's huckleberry, not plum, which smells distinctly different. I don't mind the mountain violet in here. It gives like a hint of like a fresh slash slightly soapy powdery vibe. Violets tend to do that in scents, like if you smelled lilacs and violets, there's like a kind of like soapy powdery floral note to it. This is a little bit cleaner and fresher than that. I just think for me, I'm curious to see how bitter the huckleberry ends up being, because right now I'm kind of torn because the huckleberry is not as sweet as like a plum. And since they didn't really add a whole lot to enhance the sweetness of it to play that out, I'm wondering if it'll just be a little bit too pungent for my tastes, which would be unfortunate, but it happens. But that's my thought on it. All right, let's move on. Iced Pine is next. This is a bestseller since the dawn of the dinosaurs. As refreshing as a walk through newly fallen snow, green fir and pine kissed by icy peppermint. I love the peppermint note in this. I think it is very icy. Like, they have that spot on, and there is fir and pine. This is a green tree scent, obviously. It's green, and it's a tree named scent. But if you don't like pine or fir and pine or that combo, you're probably not going to be fond of this one. If you don't like icy and green, like if you just want green scent, you're also not probably going to love this one that much. And it's not particularly woody so much as it's green tree-esque. So if you're looking for something that's more like heavy on the wood tones, I would maybe argue go look at like Very Snowy Spruce rather than Iced Pine. This is more if you want like the mint plus tree. And that's what it is. I mean, it does it well. It's strong. I like it. I don't love it. I don't know that there's very many green tree, Christmas tree scents that make me like jump for joy other than like the actual fresh trees outside. So some have come close. This isn't necessarily one of them for me, but it's a great performer. Next is Mystery Man. I'm actually surprised that Mystery Man is still here and My Hero got discontinued for fall winter, because I feel like My Hero, I don't know. Anyways, Mystery Man, warm white cedar, green verbena, and citrusy bergamot in a perfectly spiced sensual fragrance. I mean, this smells like a sexy man, right? This is a more heavily toned one than My Hero was, in my opinion. I do like this. I will have to get another bar of this and warm this again, because the first time I remember warming a bar of it, I don't know if it was just the bar or what, but I felt like it was lighter than I expected it to be. Like in this, when you like smell it, you're like, oh yeah, real strong cologne, woodsy note, and all that jazz. And then you warm it and you're like, it's still really great, but it's not as strong as I thought it was going to be. I felt like it was more of like a medium, even maybe a medium soft when I warmed it, but it was a long time ago, like over like a year. So I think maybe it's overdue for me to get a bar of this and give it another chance. But I love the scent. It is in my club because I don't want to lose it at any point. Anyways, moving on to Toasted Acorn and Oak. This was one of the ones from one of our limited time collections and is now back in the catalog. And I'll give it this. It's a very unique scent. Toasted acorn and creamy chestnut roasted over golden oak bring warmth to a crisp evening. You do get that. You do get the acorn. There is a creamy sort of nutty note. And there is an oak note. So here's my thing. This is very... Maybe this is me nitpicking, but there's a sweetness to this scent that kind of annoys me. Like, I think if it was a little bit more earthen, I'd be fine. And maybe what it is the chestnut. Maybe it's not the actual acorn that's causing the problem, and it's not the oak, I know that. I think it's the chestnut in here that drives me nuts. Or the chestnut acorn combo. Or it might be the acorn note, honestly. Who knows? But regardless, there's a sweet note to this that at times gives me a little bit of like artificial microwave popcorn. That's a really weird way to describe it. But it's like woody version of that. It's very strange. I don't know. Like I really wanted to like this scent, and it just didn't quite make it there for me. And I still don't quite know what it is in the scent that causes that. I think it's the acorn, or maybe it's the combination of the two, that they just went with like this creamy, sweeter toned, woodsy thing. It's a unique scent, I'll give it that much though, and it does perform really well. Next is Very Snowy Spruce, which I have a love-hate relationship with. This is breathe in fresh forest air, balsam, spruce, and cedar branches. Embrace the warmth of amber and woody pine cones. Okay, so now we were talking earlier about like how ice pine was like ice or mint and tree. So like cold, icy tones and tree. This is wood and tree. Wood and green tree, I should say. I have realized over time that I am not a huge fan of balsam. I thought I was like, I loved balsam. Balsam this, balsam that, balsam everything. But I think I either like scent bombed myself so much with balsam things that I grew sick of it. Or I didn't actually really like balsam in terms of like a holiday scent. I just like balsam by itself. But nonetheless, you do get spruce in this. You do get cedar. You do get an earthen tone from like pine cones that kind of like gives that like that dried sort of quality. And then you have the fresh or forest air note. This is a beautiful, strong performing scent, but it's basically like there's two camps in my opinion. And I don't really know why Icicles and Evergreen really isn't in this category, because I feel like as though it's a fresh scent, it's Evergreen is a tree. So you got Camp Ice Pine, which is like frosty, icy, feels like you can feel your breath, you know, that chilling zing feeling when you brush your teeth and you drink water and you're like, oh, everything's chilly. You get that sort of vibe and green tree, or you get straight up wood and earthen qualities, and like I just went out in the yard and dug up our tree and brought it inside, green tree. And then you also have, I know this is from the fresh category, but then you have Icicles and Evergreen, which I can't find the little tester for whatever reason, but that one is like, I'm fresh, with dried pine needles underneath. And an apple note that is mysteriously not in the scent notes, but is very prevalent in it. Anyways, so those are your kind of options in terms of trees when it comes to Scentsy this year round, until we have any limited releases. Next, we have Weathered Leather. We have two more in our category here. This one is step into an old-fashioned saddle shop brimming with dark suede, tooled leather, and vintage saddles over a backdrop of oak. This is straight up a manly scent. This is when you walk into a leather shoe store or a leather worker shop, or one of those places that you literally walk in and are just blasted with waft of leather. Not necessarily because they're spraying it into their ventilation, but just because there's so much leather there that it's just like overwhelmingly permeating of that scent. That's what this is. If you are a very big like leather fanatic, you know, you live in the Wild West, or you live in a Hush Puppy shoe store or any like leather working place, and love that scent and want it in your house, that is what this is. It is no more and no less. This is not a cologne scent. This is, I mean, I guess you could consider it kind of adjacent to a cologne scent, but this is just so much leather store. And it's good. Like, don't get me wrong. It's like when you bust open a brand new pair of leather shoes and you get that waft and burst of scent that's leather, that you know is leather. That is 100% what this is. And it's a scent monster. So just be aware, like if you're warming it in a small space, go easy on the cubes. You don't need that many. All right. Finally, last but not least, is White Amber Antique, and I adore this scent. This is in my club. This was released in the spring of this year. This is Alluring Amber Antique, Flirt with Fresh Bergamot. I have been waiting for a good like teak scent from Scentsy for a long time now. And then they delivered this one. And I am so not disappointed. It's amazingly balanced. I love that there's the bergamot in this one. It actually brings up like a citrusy zing, if you will. It makes it like this. I would wear this as a cologne sort of scent. I want my house to smell like this. There's like a freshness to it because of the bergamot, even though it's a woodsy scent. And that white amber is a softer amber, so it's not hyper cloying or sweet or like ooey gooey, you know, resiny. Like, it is a more muted, beautiful amber. Oh, it's so good. I want it as a cologne. I'm telling you, Scentsy, make an actual cologne for us guys. I mean, Bath & Body Works did it, and look, their men's collection is pretty awesome, honestly. At least scent-wise. All right. That's the last one there. And we have made it to the end of our Woodsy category. So hopefully this video was informative and funny and ridiculous per usual. If you are new here, consider subscribing. And let me know in the comments below if you like any of these Woodsy scents yourself. Or hate them all, or whatever. Maybe you're not a Woodsy person. That's okay too. Maybe you're like, I love spice, but I hate woods. And I'm like, good. You can have all the spice stuff. I'll take all the wood stuff. And we'll be gravy. Anyways, I hope you are having a great week, and I will see you in our next video. Take care, guys. Bye.